Today is February 26, 2020, and what we're going to do is we're going to be doing a study of Deanna's massage technique, and we're going to do it relative to Reiki and an element of Reiki. And so for the people that do massage, you're going to be able to incorporate this into your massage work better, I hope. Everyone can incorporate it into your Reiki better. Okay? So one of the things that, and we'll go into a lot of detail, but one of the things I wanted to go over about it is that she's been trained in Reiki and massage, and she does a lot of massage work. And one of the things that she's been doing is working on me for a long time on jiu-jitsu nights before class, and I've been noticing her developing a sense of the jiu-jitsu aspect that we've been training in, along with her massage technique, and she's working on me. And I mean, I feel it as quite a noticeable connection between what she's studying in massage and jiu-jitsu. And the element in jiu-jitsu is a way of connecting to the center, from your center to, your whatever the object of your connection is, whether it be an opponent or a positive thing, a relationship, a goal, whatever, is to how to make that connection. And to be able to do that in jiu-jitsu through adversity. So this is the piece that she's doing, and we want to study a little bit about this. So what I thought maybe we could do is let you experience a little of this, and we'll go into talking about it as well. But one of the things that I want you to feel is that when she's working, it used to be when she was working on me that her movements, they had penetration, but they did not have breadth of coverage. So they penetrated in, but they didn't go out very far from the places she was penetrating in. And so when she would move around, there would be a loss of the penetration value. The value she was connecting through penetration to make. Yes.
So do you make those statements relating to the physical only, or the mind, body, spirit aspect of it?
Both. So the idea would be like, let's say for instance, if you're doing Reiki and you've got your hands in a position and you're managing to go in to a reasonable depth, let's just say, but then you move your hand position and you don't have a connection that runs between the two different hand positions. Okay, that's a problem. And the thing that she's doing is improving that, as well as when if we're looking at it from a Reiki position, if she was putting her hands in one place, the penetration is not just going just there. It's moving through the field in a larger area than where she's putting her hands. And there's other things that, if we're looking at it from a Reiki point of view, meaning her hands are static, let's just say, which hers aren't. She's not doing it that way. She's doing it through a massage technique. But if we look at it from a Reiki point of view, when she's putting her hands on and she's holding her hands in position, she's not only going in, but she's going across and connecting to other things, and those other things are finding release.
Are you consciously aware of doing that?
No.
Okay.
No, she's not consciously aware she's doing it. And, and it could be that, which I've encouraged some of you to go and get a session with her, because I just think you need to learn this thing she's doing. The problem is that, she could get uptight about not having conscious understanding of what it is, and kind of shut down when she's being asked about it, okay? But I'm telling you, and you guys all know, I could be strict about certain things. I'm telling you, she's making this thing happen. In other words, it is occurring, and it's significant enough that, we should, we talk about in class where we want to honor somebody when they're doing it. And they don't have to know they're doing it and how they're doing it, okay? But she's doing it. and she's doing it through her own trauma as well. So it's quite significant what she's doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have her come up. You might want to grab a stool and do a little bit on me so you can see first. And you're going to see it in a massage context, but then we're going to talk to you about it in the Reiki context as well. Okay. So the piece that is interesting for the study today is the fact that when she's going in and hitting a certain set of frequencies. And when she's moving in this technique, she's maintaining a relationship to these frequencies, and they're spreading out and they're going in and they're being more inclusive than what I typically felt. And Carmen worked on me just a little bit right before this class, and you had some of this going on. It's not running as wide as hers at this point. And then when you have it, you're letting some of that go. And so the question is, can you know which is the piece that has it happening? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I want to see if we can study it a little bit and maybe get a better understanding of it. Okay, so I'm just going to lay on the table. I'll just go on my back.
Okay.
I guess I can go on my front.
So we use.
You can start anywhere you want. You want me to get on my back, on my stomach?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. So, and I'll tell you when can you come to this side so they can see you?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'll tell you when she starts to get it. And it used to be, she's been doing this, and we've been training, working on me for a long time. When I say months, it's more like probably years. And she used to not be able to get it, and she would do an hour on me, which is another piece, like she's already in there. But when she would do it for an hour, it used to be that she would only get it during like the last 15 minutes, and then she would sit in it the whole time. Okay? Well, now when she gets into it, she can sit in it for an hour easily without losing it for at all.
Awesome.
Okay? So she's going in. So just a second ago, she was running too deep, which was, and what the depth was the pressure on the physical, where it was more physical than it was Reiki. Okay? But now she's sitting in the Reiki, and when she's doing it, it feels like, to me, it feels very liquidy. But she's got penetration. She's not being too forceful. She's getting a lot of fascia levels at once. And then once she's into her groove, she just sits in there and can sit there for an hour. And it's amazing. Like right now when she's working, she's on the bottom of my quad, but yet I feel it going through my knee. So anything that's attached to what she's touching, you start to feel the benefits in.
Can you tell when you're in and out and slipping in and out?
I'm getting better at that now because he'll tell me.
So you're watching it.
Yeah, I wouldn't know unless he tells me. And then when he tells me, like, and he'll always say, remember that feeling. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that's the feeling.
All right, so there's a pressure. As she starts to dig, like right now, she's a little bit on the physical side.
Right, she came out.
Yeah.
A little bit.
She came out a little bit,
Right.
but when she goes back in on the physical, it could be, it may be enough pressure that you're like, ouch, this is hurting because she's pushing in a lot.
Right, when she started to talk, she started to come out.
But it can happen to her even if she's not talking.
I felt the difference.
All right, so right now you're mostly you're kind of losing this space I'm talking about, okay? And it's when she does lose it, it starts to get a lot more physical and not be as inclusive. Now when she's coming up to my hips, she's back into it again.
I feel the difference.
Right, me too.
And the unique thing is, like I said, she can do this. She does it for an hour. And if you feel this, she's really pushing in. And a lot of you could get very fatigued and not be able to sustain. But she's sustaining because when she gets in this groove. Okay?
So this is
So when you go to feel this, it's like
it's there's an element of her pushing on your physicality, all right? But you start to feel the physical separate from this fluid state she's in, which is where the energy is that we're interested Reiki-wise of. And you really, when you're witnessing it, you want to try to feel that she's pushing into an energetic field and maintaining a relationship, and that field is moving about where she's specifically on something. The field has activity occurring on it. Okay.
And it seems.
Yeah, that's a good impression like that right there. It'd be good for them to feel it.
Is her energy field expanding? Because I feel it like expanding and contracting.
Well, it's going to, but
It's like it's pushing out further the longer she's in it.
well, this is the idea that you start to Reiki-wise, you start to tune in for more of the things that are involved. Like now when she's going down my leg and she's kind of crunching a little bit, with her hands as she goes down toward my ankle. My ankle nerves are releasing way ahead of her. And I don't feel that very often.
I could feel that.
Okay? Now you get this happening,
Yeah.
but you're coming in and out of it.
Right.
Okay? Right, there you go. So try to feel what you got right there, because that's what I like them to feel. Just like that.
Okay.
Okay? So we're gonna let each one of you take a turn. Right, now she's on it. And like I say, when I put her on the spot, it kind of
Yeah.
can change it, okay? And that can happen for any of us. There, now you're in it. And this is where she goes. And as she moves across the body, and I turn over or whatever, she just hits this groove and can stay in it. The guys come in before class, we're all talking, she's talking, but she doesn't lose it. And she used to be, when she would talk, she'd come out of that. I was like, come on, get back in there, But now when she gets in, she just sits in it.
Nice.
Okay?
Nice.
So there's an element that I want you to feel, and then we'll do a couple diagrams and we'll explain a little bit about it. Then we can practice. Yeah, there she's got it. That's it. Okay? So let's let Eric get on there first.
Where do you have issues?
Do you mind if I get my back?
What's your problem?
No, lower back.
Okay.
And I'll talk about you working. You can see she got her hands in her cone. She's working right from Hada. You see how Hada's engaging as she's doing? Hada is engaging. She's not working like this. See how she's done? She gets up on the stool. She's got a knee on the table.
Yeah.
She's pressing everything where she's in her cone at. And when you do this, it starts to open up. You see how she has both hands involved? And they're both sitting in her cone. So she doesn't have one of them off axis. And this would be the same thing when you're doing your Reiki or any form of healing. See how the hand stays in the cone? And she's pressing in on this side of this hand right there. She's coming in like this with it. And there's a multi-directional movement to it, but it's not like it's distracting. But if you take a look at her hands when they're coming in, it's not going like this or like this. It's like it's like this. See how the shoulders, see how the arms connect with the shoulders, and then the whole torso is centered in Hada. So when the arms come up, instead of it being like this, it's hitting good posture, so that when it locks, it connects right to Hada instead of it being given away in slack. Do you understand that?
Good.
And part of what she's doing comes from the fact that she does so many massages a week that you can't survive if you don't learn to work in your cone. But she's doing it in jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Okay, that time when she was circling with him, she had it really strong. Could you feel that? See right there, right there, right there in her stroke, right there, right there, right there, right there, right there.
Yep.
is where she's getting it in the stroke.
Nice.
So, does it have a greater radiant effect? It does, but don't think of it like that. Think really in terms of that you're wanting to feel inside the thing that you're wanting to feel the center of what you're working. Okay, let's go to our next person. Can you feel it, Eric?
I fell asleep. Can we do that?
Jess, you're next.
This is cool because I'm learning
Okay. I'm gonna
what I'm
distract
doing
you
also.
with a
Like, I
hug,
have no
'cause I was
idea.
pretty awkward. Can we get a second turn on that?
You know what you think? Pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Now you know what I'm
I'm surprised you let any of us in the room when that's going on.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, man.
See how she's in her cone? Look at her leg bracing. She's really got the cone
She's
thing
got
going
really
from
good,
jujitsu.
yeah,
Do you see her
body
posture?
dynamics. Yeah, really, really
You can
good.
get up and look around because, see, she's bracing against the table. And if you take a look at how she has her hip behind Hada, she's not like this. See, she's like this. So she's got a good brace for the hip. Can you see this?
Yeah,
See
I
her?
do.
She's coming this way. So Hada is sitting in front of the hip, leaning up against the table. That is all jujitsu right there. See that base?
Very
Legs aren't locked. See how she's right in there?
Jess is gone.
So there's a postural element. You can see this, which is true in Reiki, which we teach in the Reiki class. Strongly. But you're watching her do it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Isn't that good, Jess?
The whole side of my head just flared up.
Yeah, you just got me all the way over here.
I'm telling you.
Got big old chill.
She's cooking, I'm telling you. But look at that. That's the right posture. See how she keeps her hands in her cone? And her arms aren't moving independent of her. In other words, she's not going like this. It's like,
all attached. Yeah.
okay, but yet she's leaning in. She's using that table to brace on. And it ends up giving her incredible endurance.
Nice.
I've seen this with Reiki, with that Reiki without the massage, where when you're out of your cone, it's like a kink in the hose. Sorry. But it smells so good.
Doesn't it?
That's it.
Oh my god, she just adjusted my sacrum.
Right?
Oh, I needed that.
So you see she's up on the table again. She's coming down on it. And this is true for your Reiki as well. Instead of just standing along the side, because you might not know. Like when I stand, I can get my Hada involved in it and make those turns, but you might not be able to do that easily. So what you're watching her do, she got one knee on the table even, but she's getting up high enough. See how she's coming down? And Hada is all connected, is coming through her shoulders, coming right down, she's keeping her hands in, and she's letting that support her posture. And there's an effect that happens where, because she's unifying in herself, she ends up having a therapeutic unification that occurs inside of the person she's working with.
That lightness.
Yep. But one of the things we have here in our practice, we have these stools. And we use them.
I've got two of them at work. I've got a short one and then a tall one like
Right.
that.
So now when she's working, she has a little bit of deviation going where some of the energy is going out this way. Okay, so see how she's engaging this forearm? When she engages that forearm, and if you let yourself settle into that, right, she's going to get better benefit. Okay. Otherwise, she's searching a little bit, and then she would start to center.
Yeah, I'm a soul of my feet. Right.
How's that feel, Carmen?
Feels like more.
She said.
When you when's your schedule?
What's your schedule?
Like I don't tell him, so I raise my arm.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Can you do that technique you just did? Now watch her carefully. See how she's moving between hands? Mm-hmm. She's not coming all the way out. Mm-hmm. There's a connection between her arms and hands. In that movement, she's staying in as she's doing it, and that is a key. Mm-hmm. Can you see it?
I'm halfway Carmen's
All right, Carmen.
Okay.
Joyce's turn.
No,
Carmen.
see, pull me off. Love you, bye.
Nice, very nice.
I'm so glad you're close. You're just up the street from me.
We booked on the weekends.
Yeah. She's just up the street from me.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I can come and see both of you.
Yeah.
She said, yeah.
And Jeff.
Now, okay, there she is. She just went in. So there's a little bit of acclimation for the person. But even when you're doing your Reiki, you could be letting Reiki come through, but you're really not making as much connection.
It's still happening.
Yeah.
This is great because I think I touch in and out of this, like you say, but I'm not consciously directing it. So this is giving me like a flavor for it, like a feel for it.
Mm-hmm.
My left side is the one that's been really, yeah. And I've been feeling those same spots.
See, our fan is already in. It's going right there.
What's in?
Her hand is
Oh,
in,
her
so
hand.
she's pressing in. If you look at her, it's like she's involved with like a gelatinous type material.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's kneading dough.
Like she's cooking, yeah, that's what I was
She's just
thinking.
kneading
Like
dough.
she's kneading dough.
Right.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Making biscuits out of it, Joyce.
Biscuits are good.
How about a cupcake?
We like biscuits.
The Joyce cupcake.
Mm-hmm.
So it also seems that what she's doing
That's
is
it.
hunting for the right spot, because there was a point
That's it.
where she was working in a couple minutes and then like she
That's
found
what we
it
do in
and stayed
jiu-jitsu.
on it.
We hunt for the way to take it down. The way to connect more is what you're doing. But you also have your traumas. And so one of the big problems is like your idea of connecting more could be to just power up your own traumas on somebody. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Right.
So she's not doing that. She's not doing that. She's really making it about an energy connection that's happening that's not trauma based, even though she's releasing some trauma.
Right, because if she was focusing on the trauma, that would not be as good.
And this is what, and you guys are here every week when she's working, and you watch me all the time. I'm pushing her in class and even in between, to where when she starts to get this, I push her into her trauma spots to see if she can still maintain this. Because this thing that she's doing,
so nice.
it's not based on imposing your
so
traumas on
much.
someone else. It's not based on that.
I'm so happy.
Me too. I'm still feeling it.
Mm-hmm. She got it. She
Yeah,
nailed
she
it.
got it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm even feeling Joyce's benefit.
All right, Andy's turn.
Because it's Andy, I'll get up. It's only
That's
right.
the only way.
Yeah, if it was Eric, I might hesitate. It's my Andy. I'll do it for him.
I'll practice on you.
I'll let you.
Then you need to get a big.
Yeah. Both of them?
Now look at her posture. Now she's bracing. And that's the key, because she didn't used to do that.
She makes it look so effortless.
See how she's working? When she's going down, she's reaching in, she's getting her hot. Look how the belly is moving. But see us timing together?
Yeah.
And this puts you into a connection. Just go look from the side, Jess. Watch how her belly is leading the
It
way.
reminds me of the Kundalini motion. That pulsing, maybe pulsing.
Watch how her belly comes in instead of just doing it with her hands.
It is like a pulse.
It is.
And this whole arm is all sitting connected to
Yeah.
Hada.
Yeah.
And it looks relaxed.
It's very relaxed, but it's
Yeah.
supple.
Yeah. Do you get tired at the end of the day, your body wise, or just mentally, emotionally?
I think more emotionally. Yeah.
Your shoulders are down. See it? All the weight is going down.
And
But-
right here.
And look, it's not that this is so tight, but you can see it's all connected.
Mm-hmm.
And you can even look at her feet and see
I was
how
noticing
she's
her
connected.
feet, how light.
Yeah.
She has a lot of presence.
And she does, yes.
And the guys, when she does this on the mat, you feel it. When she gets this on the mat, it's very strong.
Mm-hmm.
In her practice for jujitsu.
See how she's
But
working
she's
the whole
not
body
touching.
into it? See how the shoulder, the belly, the legs, everything
Mm-hmm.
goes in as one, and the weight is down like this, guys. So she gets into you. So when she enters you, it's not like this.
It's underside.
It's like,
It's the underside weight.
and when she's in there, she's working
She's
like this.
all in there.
That's the principles at work that you're seeing.
Nice.
I feel for your back, Sensei, because just that little work she did on mine is like totally. It's so much better.
It's and you hear me. I make a point to tell her at class, and I'm like, yeah, you need to hear me. You're doing really good. Okay, we're gonna let Andy come up, and Deanna, you go get on the table.
Okay.
Who wants to try her first? Jess.
Okay.
I'm gonna need help.
Well, you want it. So that's a little too high for you
It
to
is.
stand up on.
Yeah.
But you may
Oh,
be
I got
okay.
the.
Well, you may be
got the
okay
short
putting
one.
one foot on it, but that's up to you.
Let me see what it feels like.
Okay, so this leg of Jess is just coming off to the side. It's got her key. It's being diverted.
Okay.
So we would want to keep it more like this. See?
Okay. Then let's
So like
move
if my
the-
leg was going to be up, it would be like this. I wouldn't be out like that. I need to be like this. You know?
Mm-hmm. I don't think I need the stool. I think the stool's gonna be too much.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm a little bit taller than you.
It's just a little bit, right?
You know, watch Jess's arms are moving somewhat independent from her center. And that difference is going to really subtract from your Reiki or the Reiki that's occurring during your massage. That's already better. See, when she's coming in at the end of her stroke, this is nudging it as a separation.
I feel that.
She's
Yeah.
going like,
I
it
feel
needs to
that.
all be done from the center. Even the direction that your hands are going, when you're pushing in with this, she's pushing in with all this.
This.
Yes, because otherwise you're
Like
gonna fatigue your hands. Watch it. You stay up against the table.
Turn this foot this way. Right, see? Now, this angle, see, I'm going to do it for you.
Okay.
Let me do it. No, let me do it. Don't move.
I'm not moving. You're pulling me.
Don't let this move. See.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it goes. See? See how we're doing it?
Mm-hmm.
See? Push that far. Keep unified. Right. That one is it. There you go. See, there you got it. That's it.
I feel really good.
That's it. You feel it, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah, now you got it.
Oh yeah.
Now keep working from here.
Okay, so how do I move position so I can
Just do
feel
that
I'm
right now.
losing it
Just do
as
that.
I'm switching?
Do it from here.
We'll stay in that one position till you
Don't separate so much. Stay up against, right? So, 'cause when you keep coming off the table, you're giving away a lot of your support.
And you're
That-
coming out of the energy.
And it puts a lot of strain on your arms, back, and neck. Right?
You talking about her
Right.
leaning against the table? You talking about her leaning against the table
Yeah.
there?
If she's not using the table to help support you, she's standing out like this.
Dean's giggling.
Make me giggle.
I can't say it if I'm giggling.
Don't let your arms collapse too far in. Right. Right. Keep your neck loose. Shoulders down. Right. You're pushing independent. Slow down a little bit. It's like this. Yeah. Don't push so hard. Don't push so far. You're better to be connected in going in than pushing outside of your ability to keep the connection. Keep your weight down. Bend your knees. Don't lock your knees. Not at any time did you see her knees locked.
Mm-mm.
You lock your
We're
knees, you're
already
shutting off your energy.
in contact with the floor,
Mm-hmm.
just weighting down.
Lean into your knee.
Yeah.
In other words, when you're going to push, Jess, don't bring this up away. It's like this. You work your hands, work your body.
Okay.
Like this, see?
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Right?
Okay.
Don't move this. Don't move too much. It's if you move this moves too. You want it all like that. Okay?
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get somebody else.
Thank you, Deanna.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Let's do the other side of her. We don't want her to be lopsided when she leaves here.
Lopsided for jujitsu.
Once again, come up against the table a little bit. Not to where it hurts you. Where you feel a connection to it. It's almost like coming against the table and coming just a little bit down on the table. Right, see? Now if you take a look at her technique, come over here and watch her technique. Her hands and forearms are moving a lot more than this is. See, all of this is moving more. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
And she's pushing way more. So she's pushing past the point that we're talking about. You got too much weight up top. Keep all this. Here, if she goes like this, she's out of her cone. Hands have to stay in front of you like this. See? Yeah. Right. Let your weight go down. Right. Just let me do it. You feel it. Right. You still got too much weight up top. Put your weight down through your arms. Right. Right. But this is where it's at. Just feel this. Right there.
That's where the whole thing's happening.
Underneath the arms.
Feel
Kind of.
I'm in your palms, right there inside your palms. That's where the healing is occurring, right there. The rest you're just pushing past it. It's right there. Right there. Right there. And once you have that, the thing that you have, you can work further in with that. But if you push through that, you've lost it. Or if you stay on the outside of it, you don't even have it.
So you can be on the outside of it or push beyond it and not catch it.
Your hands shouldn't be able to move independently unless your hip is moving along with it. Right. That's it, right there. You feel that now, Deanna? Right, that's it right there. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. The end of your stroke, you're almost leaving it, but you're not leaving it now. Right. 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 She's going over the edge. She thinks it's the edge of the body, but she's going over the edge of her cone. Right. Yeah. See? There you go. All right, good. Joyce's turn. You're on this side, Joyce.
So can you work here? You're not overworked? Yeah, right.
I don't think that's possible. She needs it.
Are you okay with this idea? Yeah.
You're so glad you came. We are too.
It's almost like you want to think with your arms. It's almost like you're making a U. You know, it's like, but you don't come all the way back up. It's like you're going in with the U, and just when the first barely making the turn up, you're staying in there. Okay, so Joyce's hands are above her cone. Okay, so she has her hands above Hana too much, so it can't get through to these hands. It's only coming out from over here. Just put your hands back on her like you're doing. Go ahead and do that. That's a lot better. Now when she's coming in, just keep going. She's still above her arms are above the Hada energy. So Hada's coming in here. So just keep going. And what we're going to do is we're going to have her come in on this forearm against Deanna, like this. See? And that's where Joyce has this point at. It's not in her hands because, you know, she could probably use a stool. You see? Right there. Right. Right. So and if you use this part of your hands underneath there, right, the same thing over there, yeah, you're going to get more of it. Right. So over here, that hand's still a little bit high, so I'm going to adjust it. Now you just stay where you're at.
Now, Deanna, if I call massage Indy, can I schedule an appointment like tomorrow?
Girl.
She's probably booked.
Can I ask for you?
Yeah, we'll be there.
Okay. Let me do it. Let me do it. Right. See, it's right there. That's where it starts, Joyce.
Okay.
That's the stuff you're looking for. So if you push across that, you're coming out of that thing we're talking about. See, it's right here. Feel that, Deanna? It's right. You almost see it like here. You're going across it. You're going to leave it behind. So if you kept going like this, you don't have it anymore. It's still stuck back here.
Yes.
Now feel from the rear foot, push your whole torso forward. and let your torso go through the palms, the base of your hands. And all this has to relax. Should all be relaxed. You can see when I was, flexing Deanna's arm, she was relaxed. She wasn't in muscle tension. There it is. Come back a little more. Right. You're going past it. Come back right there. You're still going past it. Right. Your stroke is going past it. Right. Don't come out like that. Just come back. Go in again. There you go. Come back. Don't come out. Yep. Keep coming. Just rotate. Do your in and out like that. Right. That's right. Here. Just let that relax. See? That right there is where it's at. See how she responds? Otherwise, you're going over top of it.
I'm trying not to drool.
Too late.
I just did that already.
Let me work your body. See how relaxed it is. See, you were in it. We have to be really careful because if we keep pushing and start coming out, we'll come out of it. And she's got such a feel for it. When she's changing position, she's not coming out of it because she's staying in her cone.
Even though her hands may come up.
Right. She's staying in her cone the whole time. Okay, let's have Eric, your turn.
Thank you.
Let's take a leg. So get your Reiki going first.
Thank you.
That's good. So the majority of your Reiki now is going to be going this way. This way. Okay? That's what we're working on. Because if you start to go this way, you're going to lose your cone. Go this way, you're going to lose your cone. And if you feel at the base of your palm here, you can feel how here you're in, but you can feel how you're almost rolling over it when you go like this, you know?
Right.
And it's the point that you're coming. It's the line of your cone that you're feeling. So now your Reiki would be going in like that with your two hands. It would be a dynamic reader. Yeah, you can do them at the same time. And guys, when Deanna's doing this, she's also doing multi-direction. So when she's going in, her hands are doing like this. Not always the same way. It's like this, or this, or this. But it's always staying in her cone. Her arms are loose.
Nice.
As you. It could happen.
You almost see you're going past it right there.
I was trying to see it was so subtle, the difference in position that you showed. I was trying to
Let
see
all
where
this
that-
come down into it.
Oh, yeah.
Let this sink down into it. Come back toward me a little bit. Right. No, not that way. Let your hip come back. Relax your whole body. Right. Right. Can you relax it more? Right. Can you relax it more? Right. There it is. So you're almost going, you're wanting to go past it, you see?
Yeah.
I think you should take a half step back so we can get down a little lower on it. Right. So it'd be like, right.
That's different.
I feel
See?
that.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right from the Hara.
See the difference there?
Yes.
You're scooting your hara forward like this, which is going to reduce the distance for the energy to move, because the energy, guys, it likes to be at a certain distance from your hara. And so if you start to crowd it, it's reducing it.
Right. Nice.
And then you don't want to have to work hard to hold your legs up. So you could just kind of either lean into the table, but your legs should just be relaxed. It shouldn't be like a strain on you. If you got a strain on you, you're using energy to strain, which means you're not in your cone. Right.
That seems like it right there.
Yep. Yep. And he's got a good posture now. You know, he can sit and you should be able to hold this posture better.
Yeah.
But see how he's using the table? Well, the other way he wasn't. He wasn't in his cone. He's trying to support himself. A lot of the energy is being wasted, and that's the energy not only that you're connecting with through your Reiki, but it's the energy that allows you to connect further into the body, which we're going to talk about in a minute.
So there is a massage aspect to
Yeah,
this,
you can
though,
be
right?
doing that as, you know, you could be pulsing and like working in.
Physically,
Yes.
as well as
Mhm.
energy.
Yeah. Just don't come out of the Reiki when you're, you know, pulsing physically. Right. Yeah.
I'm getting so hot.
Okay, let's let Andy get on. Andy, you're on this side.
Just knows.
That Joyce, this is your Andy.
This is my
And he's getting ready to go.
Yes, he is. He's so wonderful.
Now, Andy is really good at jiu-jitsu with this cone. Okay, so we're probably going to see him get in a good position, but that's you want to have that same kind of feeling.
She said, I felt it.
Yeah.
Right?
Is it supposed to?
That your right arm is a little extended out of your cone, so either bring your right leg forward.
This way.
Yeah. Let this shoulder drop through. This shoulder is coming out of your cone. Let this drop right. Drop that down. Bring Hata forward. Shoulder back. Belly forward, shoulder back. Like this. Go like this. Right. Right. Now let all that sink down. No. See, when he's sinking down, he's pulling his belly out. Let the belly come forward and let that sink down and push through the belly. Right. Lower even. Lower belly than that. Play it for a minute. So when you saw Deanna, she was like this.
Oh, yes.
She was like this. And I teach this in jiu-jitsu. I say, listen, you see the masters in martial arts? They're never like this. They're always like this. Because this is where they get all the energy down here. And she's doing it right. That's it. You got to keep the arms a little lower. Now, when you see her going, she's moving this forward and disconnecting from those. See, these don't have much connection. They still don't have enough connection. Her shoulders are disconnected from Hata. So it's not like this. See? It's like this is coming down, see? Push through the arms a little bit. Right. Not that much. Right. Not that much. Right. Let them go down. All the way coming underneath them. Don't bring them back up. Right. It's like this.
Yeah.
Relax.
Deanna went,
I know. Why do we have her head under the pillow?
Can you relax more,
Like
Deanna?
this.
I felt so good.
It's right there. That's where it's at. You know how light that is, Andy? Right, you don't want this getting out in the head of it, see? Like this. Feel me push your upper body ahead of your Hata. So you don't want that. See? See how I'm bringing it down and through your belly? See how I'm pushing against his rear? And pushing his belly forward. And into the arms, see? Right. That right there, that would really have that Reiki radiating out so much further.
Mm-hmm.
Can you feel that, Deanna?
And that's the unity you were talking about.
Right, we're going to draw this on the board. Okay, Andy. So let's take a look at the board now. So let's examine the idea of what we're doing. Can you guys get closer? Make sure you can see this board. So let's say, for instance, that we're working on. Let's just say we're working on the back of the person. Okay. Here's their. That's their spine going up. Shoulder blades. Okay, arm. Okay. So this would come up like this to the neck, and the head, and they're laying down. Okay. And so when you're going in on this, and your hands are going in, or whatever form you're doing, and for the healing, as you're going in, you're penetrating in at different amounts. Okay? And when you penetrate in, the less you have hara, the more physical you're going to be held to. And here's the problem with the physical. As you push in physically, you're not going to be making resolution changes on your connections. You're only going to be staying at the level of your physical connection. So even though you could press in all the way to crushing bones, you won't have a harmonious relationship to anything on your way in. Okay? So when we want to go deeper into the body, it's not how hard we're pressing, it's how inclusive we're being of the things that lie deeper inside. So let's say, for instance, that, when we were going to push in, let's just say that, well, I'm just going to take this drawing up here. We're just going to blow that one piece up a lot. So that this will be a layer of skin, and then we've got some muscle underneath that. Muscle. We've got some nerves that are running. They're going through the muscle, alongside the muscle. And then under that, let's just say that we've got a bone. And you're going to press in. So one way, when you're pressing in, if you're trying to press down to a bone, let's say you're trying to adjust a bone for, like what Deanna did for Jess up on her shoulder. You could be focusing on the bone and not having a connection to any of this. Okay? Another way is you could be focusing on the muscle but have no connection to the skin or the bones. Or you might be on the skin and the muscle but have no connection to the nerves, because all these objects are at energetic differences. Otherwise they'd all be the same. So the energy coming densely into a bone to become physically a bone is a lot tighter than a muscle. Skin is different than a muscle. Nerve is different than skin. So the problem when you're working is, how much of this can you get? And where do you need to be? So like if we needed to be in the muscle and we could get all of this in our energetic press, I could just press on the layer just enough to make a connection at the top of the body. I might only have to press in, this far. And I might have inside of my hand going to hara, to say that that's my hand. Going to hara, I might have all these different layers inside. Here's my bone, here's some muscle, here's some skin, here's some nerves. I might have all of that in my hand connecting to Hada, so that when I put my press on, all of this feels all a connection to all of that. And so I now have a connection to it all. And then I might say, ooh, I need to put a little more emphasis on this or a little more emphasis on that, you know, to do a particular treatment. Okay? But we don't have time to cover that. We'll do that another time. But the idea is that when you're making this press on here, what can you be connecting to that could be inclusive of more of the whole? You see? What can you be connecting to that could be more inclusive of the whole? You know, so one way, when you're pressing in, are you thinking about your bones? Because a lot of times that's what you're thinking about, or your muscles. It's not the thing that's doing it, though. You know, if you get too muscular, you get all worn out, and they're like, that's really hurting because you're not being inclusive enough. Do you see it? So there's the fascia material, which runs throughout the hand or that person's body. It's like a set of cobwebs or spider webs that connects everything together. So the fascia, if we were to put that in green, it would be kind of running through, like looking this to that, that to this, looking the nerve to that one, and this nerve to this muscle, and the muscle up here to the skin, and the muscle down here to the bone. And it ends up forming this network that runs. And there's, even if we were to take a muscle fiber and look at it inside, okay, there's fascia connecting the fibers inside the fibers. Okay? So when we connect to this stuff here, which is what Deanna is doing, when she gets it right and you manage to feel it, she's connecting not just to the superficial fascia of the skin, but to the fascia that's running through the body. And there's times when she could go down deeper in it and train to even go deeper than what she's doing. But the fascia, that's it. The interesting thing about it is that you can pass energy through that, the energy of Reiki. It becomes like a highway system. And it allows you to do a lot of things, because instead of having to work, you know, the knot completely out of the muscle, you could release the energy that's making the knot in the muscle through the fascia release. And not to say that there aren't muscles that need to be worked out, but whenever you have one that is tied up in a knot, there's too much energy stored somewhere around it that's holding it in that knot. And the fascia, as you learn to do this more, and the same thing with you, Dan, as you learn to practice it more, you're going to be able to release stored energy where it's causing pain through the fascia, because the more you connect to it, it's allowing it to disperse. Whereas if you just press down, as you're pressing down, you're loading up the fascia around it with the stuff that you're squeezing out of the muscle. Or like if you're doing your Reiki and you're shooting in your Reiki, when you first started, like Eric, you've worked often in class, you know, on the Reiki, and the Reiki's not going very far because your relationship isn't open to the fascia. You're on the skin, you know? And so the skin says, hey, I don't need any more. Or the muscle says, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. But the fascia, it's a network that runs all through the body. It even surrounds the organs. It's inside of the brain. It's all over the place. So there's a pathway for your Reiki to travel in unlimited fashion to where it needs to go if you tie into the fascia. And when she's going up and down or in and out like you're seeing her do, instead of stopping like some of you get, you start to kind of work it. She keeps that motion going, and that motion that she's got going is her communicating with that fascia. And so by the time she works down my legs and she's at my feet, I mean, my feet are ready to be worked. Okay? And she can improve this. But that network allows you to connect to where you're going.
So
Okay?
it opens the pathway ahead of where
Ahead of
she's
yourself.
going.
And way greater than where you were working on.
Mhm.
So instead of saying that you have to be focused on what you're touching, there's a network underneath of it that you're wanting to go through. And sometimes that network is too bound, and that can happen because of adhesions, but it can happen because you have too much energy stored at that particular place. So the nerves themselves are connecting. There's to the fascia as well. It's like in my body with, I went and got my MRIs. They did 2 last week, and one of the MRIs they did of my neck, and every single vertebrae has problems, every one. And then they did from T12 down to the top of my sacrum, and from T12, every lumbar, all have problems. And so those nerves, and plus my sacrum does. So those nerves are just like feeding into that fascia to like, what are we supposed to do with this stuff? So the fascia tries to, take it and spread it around, And at the same time, when she goes in and she does that release of the energy in the fascia and moves it around, it's like, oh my God, this is so healing for me. But that's not to say that the pointed work isn't healing for me, because I need that too. But I have so much stored. It's like, I don't know what to do with this stuff,
So it creates space when she goes in. It's opening up space for you.
It creates a discharge of pain that's located in that network. That's just an accumulation in that fascia by saying we're gonna open up a relationship through the body via the fascia to take places that have inflammation and let them be discharged through a network that will receive them, rather than trying to push a muscle through to the other side. It's like you have a network that's already open to carry a signal. And that fascia is not just between your skin and your muscle. It's even in between the fibers of the muscle. It's between muscles and muscles, between ligaments and muscles, and tendons, and bones, and nerves, and organs. The fascia around the heart is called the pericardium. I mean, it's something that transmits signal. Okay? So when you're doing it, one way you're trying to push on something that doesn't have anywhere to go. And the other way, what she's doing is she's going in there and kind of working, she's massaging a network, where you could be Reikiing a network. So then it's easier for, like we do in the class, Reiki class, for it to go where it needs to go when you're on there. But the pulsing that you're doing is to let you be engaged in that network at different resolutions, because you don't know which pathway is the pathway that's going to take you where you need to release what you're working on, or to give to something further down the line, or to release something further down the line. This, instead of just pressing. In other words, even if you're working a particular thing in your massage work, you could be working through this network to release the tension of that muscle to give a network for it to go to, if you understand what we're doing here. So it's like, what part of the network do I need to be in? So one way, you think you have to be in the network way up the body. I'm saying that there's a pathway anywhere in that body from wherever you are. But wherever you are, you're going to be, the majority of your work is going to be in that area. You know what I'm saying? So you might be 90% on the back, but the leg is getting discharged or it's getting fed what it's been missing if you can do it through the fascia while you're working a knot out on the back or when you're doing Reiki on the back. And that fascia's got different levels. And so it's not the same fascia, but all the fascia connects. So the fascia around the bones is different than the fascia in the skin or between the skin and the muscles or between layers of skin. It's all fascia. It's like a connective web, but it's not one single web. It's a lot of different spiders making the webs, but there is a connection between them all that's going on. So when you're doing this pulse, if you're going and you're pumping in and out of the fascia, you're going to get a lot more connection, because even if you're trying to work a muscle, there's fascia all through the muscle. So if you're only pushing on the muscle and not the fascia, it has nowhere to go. But if you're in the fascia pushing on the muscle, you could get the muscle to release into the fascia and giving it room to go. But if you can't do that if you're not working the fascia at the same time. Plus how much it wears you out. So you want to be in your fascia, which is what you're seeing her do, which is what we do in our jiu-jitsu to a large extent. When we're in hatha, we're like relaxing our energy, relaxing our muscles to allow the weight to all settle down so that the energy can just pour through that fascia plane. And then that communicates to the other plane. So I set up that communication, and while we're in that communication, we could sit there keeping that open. We could go in and work on something while still having that plane open. Making sense? Comments?
I love Deanna.
Thank you.
We all love you. So just for your body work.
Love you too.
Okay, so let's start off with the headlock escape. Nerve center too. Okay. Remember now? Yes, okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start doing some escapes. And so escaping from a particular hold, and this particular hold is going to be a headlock. Like I'm holding you, getting your head locked in position. And so like, in other words, the person's got you like this. And we're going to make the escape. We're going to use a nerve center. Go ahead. So she needs to hold on to you. So just going on a nerve center on the side of the nose. Right.
Are you okay?
I'm good.
Are you
You
okay?
want to feel the nerve center? Want to feel the nerve center?
No, I know there's no.
Want to feel the nerve center?
No.
You feel it?
Sorry, I'm being resistant.
You have really very beady eyes.
I'm good. No, you're good.
That hurt.
What's happening? I mean, is he gonna shoot a beam of light?
What does
Go
it
ahead.
feel like? I want to know what it feels
Clear my
like.
sinus up. Can you do the other one?
Yeah, see?
Okay, Annie wants to know what it feels like.
I do want. This is one of those things.
Cleared my sinuses up. It's intense,
Yeah,
but
it is.
it's not too bad.
Are we disrupted?
Yeah.
On purpose?
No.
Did not me.
You can hear if I do it both sides. You can do it both sides. It's hard as bush.
Andy said, nope, you can't have it.
So let's take a look at how this is done, just so we can show them the concept. So when he comes in here, so when he comes in here to grab me by the head, see, the idea is you're trying to make an escape from a problem. And sometimes we're not connected to the problem in the moment, so we can't escape from it. But there's other times when we're in the problem, and it might be something in ourselves or in our community, whatever, that we're being held by it, in ourselves or somebody else. And so in a case like this, where it's holding them, what we're doing in jiu-jitsu is instead of trying to be like this, but you could do that if you're out here. But there's sometimes you can't do that. So what we're doing is, when he grabs us, we're coming in. See? I'm coming in and connecting with him. And then this comes in and it connects with him. See? Hey? Hey. See how my shoulder's connecting? And I come in and I'm connecting here. See? So just,
Are you okay?
yeah, so there's times when just the connection, I'm not even doing the nerve center, just the connection, the way that I'm choosing to connect to it can cause it to release. It's really significant to understand this because people don't believe it's possible. So you can have a problem in it yourself or with somebody, and sometimes the problem will release if you connect to it. Because it's holding you, it's like, the guy's like holding you and saying, I'm gonna grab you and hold on to you. And I'm like, great, man, because I get hungry in an hour. Do you have money to feed me? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's like, no. I'm like, well, I'm going with you. And he's like, no, you're not. You know what I'm saying? Right? Or he grabs you, he's like, oh my gosh, do you mind if I eat your arm? So you start, like, no, and he lets go, right? So sometimes connecting is how the problem gets solved. So I'm gonna show you without the nerve center, all I'm gonna do is just make my connection with him. So
Why?
that's jiu-jitsu.
Falls so dramatically.
Yeah, see? Okay?
Right.
And I'm being relaxed the way you saw her working. Okay? But I've got him tight.
I'm looking at your eyes.
Pardon me?
You're hotter than how you were lined up.
Right, I'm standing inside my cone to do it. Okay? So let's watch him go the other side now.
Is this the right side?
Yeah.
Or was that okay?
So he's connecting to her. So it's not just the nerve center, it's the connection in the nerve center.
The dramatic.
It's not
If all you do is poke on a nerve center, the person's like, but they grabbed you in your